Happy Thursday, indeed. It is an awesome Thursday morning, especially since you don't have to deal with me face to face. I wish I could be dealing with you face to face, but I am not here. I am in Texas in 98-degree heat and humidity, just soaking up the moisture. So, first things first. Oh, we already dealt with that. Happy Thursday. Next, let's all remember, not today. You know what to say. Thank you, Nate. Way to go. That was awesome. Real enthusiasm coming from that guy. Wow. Well, let's get after this. Quadratic Formula 12-3. Don't forget, big quiz tomorrow. Will not include the quadratic formula, but this quadratic formula business will not be on the quiz, but it's going to be for your homework tonight. So here we go. If you recall the quadratic formula, if not, that's okay, I'm going to give it to you right now. It stems from the general quadratic equation, y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. Now that's the general quadratic equation right there. That'll be a good thing to know. That quiz tomorrow, that's your general. Just some nice hot coffee. Little smoothie action. Oh yeah. All right, that's your general quadratic equation. The quadratic formula uses these coefficients and that constant. And the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And I think people memorize this. There's a little like song to it, like x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. If you want to sing that song, make a fool of yourself, go for it. I just did. Or just memorize it. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Take that. So that's the formula we're going to use. We're going to be using the b, the a, the c stemming from here, here, and here in the general quadratic equation. All right, let's start into the examples here. Example 1 is we want to solve, and we want to put it, want to make sure it's in quadratic form, the format that we want. So if I have 2r squared minus 3r minus 2 is equal to 0, that's the general quadratic form we want. The r squared, the r, the no r's. Make sure it's in that format before you go with the quadratic equation. Then what I like to do is I like to put on the left hand side here what a equals, b equals, and c equals. So a in this case is going to be the coefficient in front of the squared term. B is the coefficient, remembering that it's negative, in front of the r term there, the linear term. And then c is the constant, negative 2. And then we plug in, now we're not solving for x, like quadratic formula showed, x equals, right? Well, that's because it was x in the general form. In this equation, what we're solving for actually is the r. So we're going to put r equals negative b. So a negative b, well, b is negative, so it's going to be a negative negative 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus all right. Not today, Satan. You're not going to let me get discouraged by something like that. Little mistake. Ain't nothing a little whiteout can't take care of. Check this out. You thought I was going to be done, didn't you? Connor was going to be pumped. Math over because I made a little mistakey poo. I don't think so, Connor. Get back to work, boy. Yeah, take that. Yeah, -3 squared minus 4a, which is 2, and then c, which is -2. All right. All divided by 2 times a, which is, again, 2. Goes right there. Now we simplify. So r is equal to, a negative and a negative will yield for us. Whoa, Sabrina, don't just go shouting out answers like that. Calm thyself down. And I did see that eye roll just now with the fluttering of the eyelashes. Nice try. It is negative is a +3 plus or minus the square root of 9. Negative and negative is a positive. 4 times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. All over 2 times 2 is 4. And then that will yield for us 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 and 16. Wow, Micah, very good. 25. You're really shouting out those answers today. Being so active in your learning. I appreciate that, Micah. Square root of 25 all over 4. R equals 3 plus or minus 5 all over 4. Now we can simplify that in this case, and I'm going to jettison it up here. Let me make a little, and R will be equal to 3 plus 5 is 8 over 4, and 3 minus 5 is -2 over 4. So I end up with 2 and -1/2, like that. Okay, so that is your first example, and you guys are really participating. Participating so well, I almost feel like not assigning any homework, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to move this aside. Hopefully you got it copied. And then let's do another one here. Number 2. What happens? Ooh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's throw this one at you, just so it can kind of confuse you. We got a little t squared, and then a little plus 3/2, and everybody panics or groans. Yeah, we know who you are. We know who you are out there. Ethan. Actually, Ethan's probably sleeping right now. Mr. Ressett, can you check and make sure Ethan has a pulse? Yeah, go over there. Yeah, he's right there in the front row. He's probably got his head down, leaning on his bicep. Okay, he's good? All right. So what we want to do is to get rid of, you can deal with fractions. So this is plus 2/3. You can get rid of the fractions, or you can use them in the quadratic formula. Sometimes using them in the quadratic formula can get a little confusing. So let's go ahead and get rid of them. We're going to multiply by the LCD, and the LCD is, wow, Lexi, the first words I've heard out of you today. That's amazing. That's almost a miracle. In fact, I think that is a miracle. Yeah, good. The LCD is 6. So we're going to multiply the whole thing by 6, distribute it in. And when we distribute that in, we get 6t squared plus, okay, 2 goes into the 6 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9t. 3 goes into 6 twice. 2 times 2 is 4. And then 6 times 0 is 0. So now I got our A is 6, our B is 9. If you think you heard that bell, it's not for you. Nice try once again. Okay, let's go ahead and plug this into the quadratic formula. And we're going to go, we're not solving for r or x, we're solving for the variable t. So t is equal to a negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 9 squared minus 4 times a times c. Making sure that's all over underneath the square root, all divided by 2 times 6. Okay, go ahead, try that. Work it down, and then I'll work it here in a second. You can, if you get done, you can check with your cheatmate. If you come up to an answer that is a radical, I want you to use your calculator and find the decimal answer, and then I also want the answer in simplest radical form, so both. And go to the nearest hundredth on the decimal form. If you're getting stuck, you can look up here. Now, did you get out the square root of a negative? Okay, if that is the case, we'll double check, because if we see, oh, a square root of a negative, it's no solution. We will want to double check, and it can be no solution at times. You definitely can have no solution, but you'll want to double check and make sure that you plugged in correctly. So if we have, again, t squared plus 3 halves t plus 2/3 is equal to 0, and our LCD then is going to be 6. So we take the 6, okay, 6t squared, check. 6 times 3 is 18, divided by 2 is 9. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 divided by 3 is 4. All right, and none of those are negative, so positive, positive, I have 6, 9, and 4. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. And we check and we say, okay, well, 6 times 4 is 24. 24 times 4 is 96. So 81 minus 96 is going to give us a negative. Therefore, in that case, the answer would be no solution. Okay, well, that's going to be it for now. Again, make sure you're able to put your answers in quadratic, simplest radical form, and also in decimal form on your calculator. You should be able to do both of those like we did with completing the square. Should be able to hammer both of those out. So let us get to work, and yeah, feel free to waste your time, as is standard operating procedure. You know who you are. You're sitting there kind of snickering, smiling. You know that's you. But Mr. Resset is watching you, as am I. So hammer down and get to work. When that temptation to be lazy comes in, you're going to say, not today.